Yo, what's good? My name's Josh Armenden and you're watching Josh's Happiness. Now, in my last video, I said I was going to be making this thing here, which is a roof rack for my rustic camper. Kind of didn't film it, kind of was a little bit lazy. I'm going to insert some pictures now and you'll see the build process of this roof rack. So as you can see in those pictures, the solar panel slots directly into this roof rack. As you can see, it's kind of got a bit of a shine. That's because I used the yacht varnish to seal this from the weather, from the elements, and it actually gives a real nice finish to this piece of artistry, if that's even a term. So what I'm going to do today, we're going to fit this. Am I going to fit it? Maybe fit it. I might put one more coat on it first.
It's you.
What the hell is this all about? Oh, I get it. He's one of those kind of guys, huh?
What are you talking about? He's not like anyone else.
So that's that last coat done on that. That'll be dry, touch dry in 2 hours, and then 24 hours I can fit it. So I'll be fitting that tomorrow, but that'll be this video. So stay watching. So that roof rack I bought in the last video, fitted. And then my roof rack that I've made, like my roof crate basket thing, sit here at the front. And then my solar panel is going to sit on this side of the van roof, and then I'm going to pop the cables for the solar panels through the little cavity here, which is by that side sliding door, and that should keep the cabin of the van waterproof from the elements outside. I wish I'd filmed all this lot, you know, but to be fair, it does take twice the amount of time to get the work done when you're trying to film everything. So what I've done in here is got myself some seats, which is one of the main things which I needed to do to get this van to a nearly finished level, to get it on the road and get it usable. And that obviously meant building a seat frame where I could put the seats on there and utilise as much space underneath. Luckily for me, I didn't install any of the battery stuff before I got the seats. I was very lucky to get the seats and they came just at the right time. I'm going to add in a load more pictures now that will show you the process of me putting together the seat box and mounting the seats. So have a look now. Okay, next of all, floors now all dry. I bought myself a few items of decor as well, which I'll start showing you now as I'm talking through. I got these from eBay actually, funny enough, and they're perfect. They really work in here. It kind of took me a little bit of time to figure out roughly where I wanted to put them. If I do get any brand deals in the future, they'll probably ask me to take them down, as these are companies. Right, next of all, I made this mirror. Again, didn't film any of it, but I did take a load of pictures, so I'll insert pictures now. It's literally just made of pallets like everything else in this van, and then I literally bought some graffiti spray paint, specifically graffiti spray paint. It's just better quality stuff, straight out of a rattle can. Sprayed it, and then what I did is I sanded it back, and as you can see in the pictures that you just saw, I routed in some pretty bits around the outside to make it look more like a mirror. The bit of glass from the mirror is recycled from another mirror. I bought a glass cutter and trimmed it up to size so it fits nicely on here. And the idea of having it here on his back door is that you can be outside the van, parked up wherever, and you can use the mirror, or if I've got a girlfriend at that time, she can use the mirror. So another bunch of stuff I've done but I didn't film was all of this stuff in here. So after I built this box for the seats, I thought to myself, might as well do the inside of the front of the van now, just to keep it looking cool. So I ripped out all the floor in here, all the matting, and brought this level up, applied it through. Now, I've got a friend called Scott Pimman, and he had his T5 van converted. I think it was a T6 actually, the model up from this, the facelift. And Mr. Rustic, I'll link his Instagram in the description, just like I did in the last video actually, I think. He done the back of Scott Pimman's van in parquet. So I thought, might as well copy, like I've copied everything else he's done. So I'm going to parquet the front of here. I'm going to do a different pattern, obviously, so it isn't completely copying. So I had to obviously build up the level here with ply so that it would be easier to parquet through here, because you cut the shapes out and then you PVA glue them all together. So it has to be level, otherwise it just really won't work. So after I'd done that, I thought I might as well clad all the way through here. This was a pain in the arse. And then after that I thought, oh, I might as well clad down into the door shut as well. And I'd done these at like 45-degree angles. It was a pain in the arse. I'll insert a bunch of pictures now, so enjoy. So as you can see in the pictures, pain in the arse. Everything's done out of pallets again, built up, and then 45-degree angle all the way through. Still got to varnish all this lot yet. That's going to look sick when it's done. That'll have parquet thinner board on it. It hasn't brought up too much. There's still loads of leg room. Can still use the pedals just fine. Don't worry, I'm on the ball. And then you've got this bit in here, like a little drink holder. I built this all out of pallets, and then I got a router and done the pretty bits down the side, like you get on the side of a wardrobe. That looks super sick. And then in here is like a little, I suppose, a little storage unit. And then down in here as well, this floor, I can't actually get it to do it right now, but this piece actually comes out, so I can still get to all like the airbag electrics and terminals and stuff, so I can still add in bits if I need to in the future. And then obviously I'm gonna put some hinges on this and then put some Hessian rope in here, so it's in keeping with that surf rustic vibe. And then down in here you have the handbrake cable. Now the handbrake cable is now too short, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build a center console back through here so it matches with this, and then build another box, and then put a skateboard in the middle, drill some holes in it, put some drink holders in there. And then I'm going to get another handbrake out of a smaller car so it's more compact. The center console will come past it and the handbrake will sit in this area here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the old cable from the handbrake that I'm going to be using, and then I'm going to weld a nut on the end, and then weld this nut to that nut, and then basically I'll be able to screw the two together, and then it'll work just cushy. Don't worry, I've modified things like this before. I've been dabbling with drift cars and cars since I was about 17. I'm now 24, you do the math. Now these seats are out of a Mercedes 54 plate CLK, which is a coupe. So the beautiful thing about these seats is they actually fold forwards. And then obviously I can then slide that seat forward, which then gives me enough room, that goes forward a bit further, to get my battery through that hole. So I can put my whole battery bank and everything underneath this seat box, which has worked out absolutely beautifully. That way as well, I can build in that piece without having to try and make it liftable. This seat's fully electric. They've both got heated seats in them, like heated mats. But this seat is like a mechanical one. So I've only got to do the relays and the polarity changing switches for this seat, so that will be simple as hell. Haven't got to try and do it for a second seat. Again, done electrics before, know exactly what I'm doing. I'll put it all in a video, maybe the next video, then you'll be able to see how that all works. It's 33 through to here. What's that? It's 33 and all. Let's go do some cutting. Perfecto. Now the cladding, this door shut. Vlogging mode initiated. So going back to these seats for a minute. I did say in one of my previous videos I was going to try and avoid going for leather seats. Well, as you can see, I didn't avoid going for leather seats because this is a leather seat. Some of us are on that vegan train. We're trying to do good for the planet, for the animals, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, these will be easier to clean. If the animal's being killed, I suppose maybe it's not a bad thing using its skin if it's going to go to waste anyway. Is that a bad thing to say? Is that a good thing to say? Let me know in the comments below if you feel outraged about what I just said. I apologise. Please do not unsubscribe. Freaking thing's run out of battery again. Oh, Canon, what do I do without you? Change this thing. Now this bit is lower than that bit, so I'm going to have to pack this out. Unfortunately, it's deeper than 15 mil, which is usually the thickness of a piece of pallet. So what I'm going to have to do is do what I've done on the other side, and that's cut bits of pallet the other way so that they pack out to that level, and then every angled bit I'll just slot it underneath, and as they screw down they sit tight against it so they can't move. Literally wang these in at an angle like this, and then just every one will have a little bit of support. Obviously the other way up though, Josh. To start, what I do is I'll get a bit of board that I've already cut a 45-degree angle out of. Hence this bit was used 45 degrees for the other side. And then I literally look where I'm going to finish, and I draw a line one side and draw a line the other side. And then I'll literally line the chop saw up with that. I'll show you that now. Pull the saw around to 45 degrees. See, now this one is slightly more than 45 and I can't get it to go right the way around, so what I'll do is I'll cut a 45 and then get the rest with a jigsaw. And that should literally slot in there like that, perfect. But what I'm going to do with this bit is I'm going to cut a load out the back of it so it sits further back that way. So that's literally what I've done with this bit now. So cut a load at the back of it so that it sits perfectly that through there, and then when I put this piece through here it should just cover it up. That way I haven't got to try and do that little silly angle in the back. Perfect. This is all the cladding finished in the door shut now. Really happy with that. And then the parquet floor will come over and lap this lot, and that should finish that off nicely. And then obviously I've got a clad down through there, but I'll do that when I've parquetted the floor because it will butt right up to the box, and then I can clad up the top of it and it should give it a nice finish. Okay, so this is the roof rack that I've made but I didn't video. I showed you a load of pictures of this earlier. I'm just going to show you a bit more in depth of what I did with it and how I designed it so that it will work the best with the wind flow from the van. So as you can see, I angled the front upwards, and I could have just done the board straight, but I decided to do them all at a little bit of an angle, as you can see right the way through, so they look in keeping with the style of the van. And then what I did is I separated up the two compartments, so the solar panel will go in this compartment, and then this will be the spare storage compartment, I suppose. And then this will sit kind of nearer the front of the van, so it kind of has that VW Euro look and style. So what I've done is I've put 4 coats of yacht varnish, which is like polyurethane based varnish on here, just so that it's weatherproof enough. That'll last about a year-ish, and then I'll have to redo it again next summer. But I've tried it up there, it looks cool, so I'm going to get the solar panel fitted in. I might have to fit this first, but I'm going to mock it up, and I've got some pieces that kind of space out the solar panel so it doesn't have too much shadow, because too much shadow in the solar panel doesn't work to its efficiency. So inside this junction box here you have the terminals for connecting your negative and your positive. You literally can't get this wrong. This is the cable I'm going to be using to connect in that solar panel. This is HO7 Flex. So the idea of this cable is that it will be resistant to all elements outside for its entire life. This is what like event companies use to do gigs and concerts and stuff. Well, any event basically. So it's just rubber based, and you can literally bend this stuff full blown in half like that. Before you install your panel, before you wire it up, do anything to it, you just want to make sure that it works. Now, if you've bought it offline, they usually test them before they leave the factory, but sometimes they might malfunction, there might be a dud. If you've bought it second hand, the person that you've bought it off might even be lying to you, telling you that it works when it clearly doesn't. So you're going to need to get yourself a multimeter and make sure that it's emitting voltage. So to begin with, make sure that you've got it in the light, because otherwise there'll be no voltage, or there might be a lower voltage and you'll be like, why isn't it working? So make sure it's in full view of the light. Okay, so what you want to do with your multimeter is you want to set it to direct current, which is the one with a V and a straight line. Okay, so you want to take black probe, wang it on a negative, red probe, wang it on a positive, and you want to be getting above 12 but below 24. So we're getting 20 volts right there, so that would be charging a battery bank pretty quick. Like, that's good. Obviously, the lower the light intensity, the lower the voltage, the less it's going to charge your battery. But obviously, get it in good light and it's going to be wanging out quite a good bit of voltage. If that said above 24 volts, that would be for a 24 volt panel, for a 24 volt battery bank. So you just want to make sure that it says above 12 but not above 24. Simple as that. This is good. Before you install this bit of cable into said panel, the other end, make sure that you strip it back, tape it up, because this will be live as soon as you connect that into there. And the last thing you want to do is to short your solar panel and waste yourself a load of money. Basically, brown is live and blue is neutral. Obviously, when you're converting over to DC, your brown will become red and your blue will become black. So make sure it's going for a stuffing gland, which most panels will come with anyway. That's that sitting in there nice and level, nice and lovely. And the nice thing is there's not too much shadow. There's like a little bit along here, and like say a little bit along here, but not too much. Should charge my battery bank enough so that I shouldn't have to plug into hookup. So I went and bought myself some of these from a well-known automotive store. And these, I'm going to take this piece out and then just use the U-clamp. The exhaust clamp option is no longer an option, because if you look quite closely and you can see it's split the wood all the way along when it's pulled up tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a piece of aluminium which sits on top of these two pieces of pallet, and then I'm going to drill through the middle and through the roof rack and then fix it that way. Hopefully that'll be a better option. Sweet thing about having a fabrication shop here where I'm doing my van is that I can literally go there, throw together what I need, and job done. Obviously didn't film me putting those together, knocking them up, but I did make a swivel seat mount with Hugh tube, which I will put him in the annotations right at the end of this video. So make sure you go and check that video out. He made a video of me constructing a seat mount for him. There was a lot of welding and stuff involved, so go and check that out. Should enjoy that one. This is the setup we've got going on here. So you've got a piece of aluminium all nice and shiny, 2 screws each side which hold it to the piece of pallet, and then you've got a bolt that goes right the way through that, and then it goes underneath, and then you'll be able to see it just underneath there coming through the bottom of the roof rack. Job done. Now the reason I've used aluminium instead of steel here is because aluminium doesn't corrode, steel does. Aluminium's not as strong, but it will last twice as long. It doesn't really need to be super strong for this setup. It wants to be able to flex a bit. So this is perfect. Okay, so last but not least, it's going to be fitting that through this hole that I pre-drilled off camera. So that hole goes right the way through here, and it comes into this void down into here, and then that comes out kind of just behind this bit of trim here, and then this end will go through this hole. As you can see down in there now, the cable comes through the roof, down through that little grommet, and then it goes down from here all the way down through there, and then it pops through down the bottom here, and it comes out here. This is the cable. That's the last bit, so that's all masticed in now. It's just taken me the best part of like an hour to do that, and as you can see, it's not even neat. Pissed off about that, but as long as it's waterproof, I don't really care what it looks like. It's on top of the van. That's the end of today's video right now. Next video I'm going to be doing all the electrics in that centre console for like the electric seats, the heated seats. I'm going to be doing like connecting up the solar, the battery bank. That's pretty much it. On the next video I might do the parquet floor depending on whether I can get my head around it. Now before I disappear, like I said in the title of my video, I'm going to be doing a little giveaway. So if you want to take part in this, what you need to do is you need to go down into the comments, and I want you to tell me whereabouts in the world you're watching from, and I want you to tell me how you discovered my channel to begin with. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at how long each person's been subscribed to my channel, like been active on my channel, and then I'm going to pick the 2 people that have been subscribed the longest and who have entered. So I've got 2 gorilla pods here. One's the SLR zoom, I nearly called it DSLR then. But yeah, it's the SLR zoom, so it's got like the pivot head on it as well, and then I've got literally a little point and shoot Joby gorilla pod as well, and these basically like do like complete, you can like put them into trees and all sorts. So yeah, I'm going to be giving away these 2. For the person that's been longest serving, like for the person that's been subscribed the longest, I will be sending the big one. The next longest, I'll be sending this one. So if you want to take part, make sure that you go down in the comments and do those things. Sweet. Right, I'm going to wrap up my video there. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't before. And last but not least, what I want you to do is go to your subscriptions. Obviously click on my channel, but I'm going to use PewDiePie's here as an example. Then click on home, and then you'll see a little bell. If you haven't done this before, click on the bell, and what it will say down the bottom, come on, is it will say you'll be notified about every video from this channel. That way you stay up to date and you can't miss any of my uploads. Thank you. So sweet as for watching. My name's Josh Ovenden, you're watching Josh's Happiness, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.